Hey peeps, welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. This is very special because we are on our final good route before we our next venture, which is which is the best routes for each character. But I felt like a wow, just very important before we begin. So today it's the first year since Chadwick Boseman sadly has passed away. Um, that's why I'm wearing all this. But also another bit of news came in earlier this afternoon. Jim Moore, father of the singer best known as Pink, he passed away just a few hours ago due to complications due to his cancer. He had announced a year earlier about his battle with cancer, but yeah, it just happened today. Um, Now I'm probably wondering, why am I mentioning this? Why am I talking about it? Well, because I actually met him about 15 years ago in the Philadelphia airport, and it se- it seemed like nothing at first um until we talked. So I was visiting my relatives down in Atlanta before eventually going to Florida that summer, and then this really nice man comes up and asks if I want, wanted any candy or anything like that, and I said no, thank you. I was being polite, and then he gave something else. I forget what, and then the thing was like, "You want a picture?" And the mom was like, "Yeah, go ahead." And it's like, "Sure, okay." And then he had all this Pink merch, like these planners and cards and stuff. And then he signed the picture saying, "Yep, you met Pink's dad in the Philly airport." And I was like, "No way, what?" And we had this great chat. And he was gonna go meet up with Pink in Atlanta for her tour. This is around when she started going blonde at the time. And yeah, he was just the kindest man that I had ever met. We were just two strangers in the airport, and we just had a chat like as if we were old friends. He even gave my mom his business card, which I still have. Unfortunately, that's where it ended. I wish we chatted a bit further after that, but just to know that just that one interaction, even 15 years later, I still remember it. So my heart goes out to Pink, her friends, and her family. I hope I hope they receive immense comfort at this present time. And also same with Simone LeWar Bozeman and their respective families. I hope that they are having comfort in his legacy being very solid, especially with the release of his final role on Disney Plus, which is What If, where T'Challa is Star Lord. So that I still get to watch, but I heard it's really good. All right, I really wanted to get those tributes out of the way. I did a couple of tributes for Chadwick Boseman, first with Black Panther, and then last year when he passed. So if you were curious about those, check out my YouTube channel. But now we are going to go to more cheerful and brighter things. So, without further ado, let's get into Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. And of course, Tobias Tantalus is right here in the background. So don't worry, he's not gone anywhere.
I'm still alive.
Yes, he is still alive and well. All right, let's go ahead and get into this intro, shall we? So, I felt like playing this intro just one more time because it is a really, really nice intro. So, yeah, gonna go ahead and open this up. Can you believe that we've played this game for like 30 hours?
That that is a lot, but also not a lot at the same time. I'm like, that's a little more than a day.
Yeah, essentially. All right, so gonna give you this intro to play with a little bit, and I will see you back in a sec.
Used to think that happy ends did not exist. In a world filled with grace and loneliness. Without a purpose, why was I still here? Then you took my hand and showed me light I couldn't see. Darling, you filled my empty world with vivid colors. The shadows of my past are gone and I can see more clearly. The stars shine more brightly in the endless night sky. With you here by my side, I can smile. Stay with me forevermore.
And with that, welcome to our final good route. Seems a little quiet to me, at least on my side. Let me increase the volume just a touch. There we go. Much better. Alright. So, new
Green
day.
isn't loading on my side. Is it supposed to not be loading?
Loading?
Yeah. Are you sharing your screen with me? It just keeps loading.
Odd. Let me try again. Alright, how's that?
Oh, there we go. We got it now.
Yay! Alright. Yeah, even with the professional setup, like one is not exactly immune to technical problems.
Oh, far from it.
No, like just earlier, like there's this problem that like some MacBooks have where like you lose all your audio sources, both input and output. And so I had to restart my computer right before the stream. So I don't know how that problem happens, but like every time, like it feels like every Saturday like clockwork, that problem appears. I don't get it.
Yeah, I was joking. It's not a Twitch stream without a technical issue.
Yep, he's got to be at least one. There's got to be at least one. Yeah, I'm super excited about this one because, like, Rod's route was the one I had the hardest time with, but then again, it was also the very first one I played, so I didn't really know Lucette too well back then. Whereas now, I feel like I've started to kind of adopt her mentality. Also, I think it's, like, basically the only route where nobody died, so this is going to be pretty interesting.
The best one.
And I think also in turn the most consequence because like Lucette was like extremely hated in Rod's route. So I wonder how this is going to turn out.
Yeah. Especially if it's the one where nobody died, I can see that being the hardest one to get. Yeah, you literally have to keep everyone alive throughout the entire game.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, you didn't think, like, killing anybody would be a stake here, but, like, yeah, like, I mean, the only person that would possibly die, if you got the bad end at least, was Rod himself. Like, everybody else pretty much was still around, but, like, Rod wasn't the only one that you had a risk of losing. But, like, yeah, this one, nobody dies. Like, not even Alcaster. Like, Alcaster's still alive in this one. Even Mithros is still alive in this one. So, I feel like this is gonna be, like, not, like, the longest in terms of, like, chapters, per se, but, like, I think certainly would be, like, the longest in terms of, like, how much is going on in here.
Yeah, finally get to meet all these people they've been talking about.
Right? I know! Like, it's all been theory, but now we might actually see them in practice. I mean, with Myth and Alcaster, I have no idea, because we didn't see Alcaster in the other one, but then again, Alcaster was on the run, in that story, so who knows what we're gonna do in this one. But yeah.
Did it kick me off again?
Did it?
Oh, come on. It looks so.
It's saying it's still streaming.
Yeah, it says you've been disconnected. Sit tight, we're patching you back in.
Weird.
I don't know what that means.
Odd. That is really odd.
Yes. Most peculiar.
That it is. Alright, gonna try switching between items. See if that helps. Ugh. Alright. I'm gonna try smoother video.
Oh. Well, I see it again now.
Okay, excellent. Alright.
See what happens here.
Fingers crossed. Alright, here we go. I've been having Wi-Fi issues, so that's why I haven't also been streaming Parasite Eve 2. But I am going to try tomorrow. Because regardless of how long it takes, we are going to finish Parasite Eve 2. Because my Wednesday nights are basically gone. I will explain later. But anyway, without further ado, let us go ahead with Rod's route. Because remember, good things come to those who wait until midnight.
Oh, do we need to start the stream later then?
I don't know. We'll see. But anyway. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a princess. She was known as the Ice Princess, named for her frigid heart and unyielding coldness toward others. How about you read the next 2 lines?
The princess shunned all who sought to help her. She was scared to go out into the world, so she locked herself up in her palace. Then, one day, the Ice Princess became the victim of the infamous fairy tale curse and was forced to go from riches to rags.
As the princess struggled to come to terms with her new life, she met a very special man. The two endured much strife, helping each other overcome various ordeals. In the end, they emerged victorious.
The special man thawed the princess's ice-cold heart and dried her dampened spirits. The two vowed to love each other for the rest of time.
They lived happily ever after.
Happily ever after.
But what happens after happily ever after? And tonight, we're gonna find out now. With Her Royal Highness, Crown Princess Lucette Riala Britain.
Really, after happily ever after, is this just during? Because that's like saying after forever. I'm like, it's like after their life?
Well, I mean, I guess, I know in this case it's like, it's more so like the storybook ending, like, what happens after, like, the storybook ending happily ever after.
What happens after the words happily ever after?
Exactly.
But in reality, we are experiencing the midst of ever after.
That is true.
Anyway, these are semantics that me and my family enjoy discussing for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, my friend group is the exact same thing. I mean, case in point, we literally did this in even with Stories of Mara, and let's face it, this entire stream is literally semantic discussion. And crown references. But yeah, today the special man is Rod. Well, hold on.
If we can find him.
There we go. Like, the color does not match. Like, it's completely different, but okay.
Yeah.
Today
I would have expected Rod to be blue.
I expected him to be blue, but he wasn't. Anyway, today's special man is Rod, so we're gonna go ahead and start with this. I mean, bare minimum, I'm expecting a good route, but if I happen to get the best route in the first shot, I'll be really impressed. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Chapter 1. The Wish.
I wish to go to the festival.
Is this truly what you want, Prince Rod? Remember that a wish is different from a curse. Once it has been cast, it cannot be reversed.
I'm sure.
I've been pacing in front of the palace gates for what feels like an hour, unable to stand still because I'm so agitated. Where is the messenger? He was supposed to be here 30 minutes ago. Could it be that Rod has forgotten to write to me? My heart drops. He would not forget, right? It is as this depressing thought surfaces that the messenger approaches the gates.
Good morning, Your Highness.
I can't help the sigh that escapes my lips. You've arrived later than usual today. Do you have any letters for me?
Indeed.
The messenger rummages through his bag until he pulls out an envelope embellished with intricate golden swirls. He hands it to me with a flourish. I recognize the envelope's design immediately. Rod always uses the same stationery.
Also have a letter for His Majesty and another for Princess Emmeline.
I can deliver them.
But, Your Highness, it's my job.
I insist. Shall I make it in order? Baffled, the messenger hands the letters to me.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, save a trip. Thank you.
No, I should be the one thanking you. Have a pleasant day.
Oh,
This
man.
doesn't get me into legal trouble if the king doesn't get his letter.
On the other hand, it is her kingdom. I turn toward the palace as the messenger departs. Emmeline is in the middle of a lesson, so I shall deliver her letter to her afterwards, but Father should be unoccupied. I find the king on his throne, eyes glued to a piece of parchment in his hands. He looks up when I step into the room.
Good morning, Lisette.
Morning, Father. Father. I only started calling him that about a year ago, when the two of us first began trying to mend a relationship. It was awkward at first, but even slow progress is a step forward. I have a letter for you. Father raises an eyebrow and glances at the envelope in my hand.
Reason you're delivering this letter?
I was already waiting for the messenger.
Ah, this is the first letter you've received all week, isn't it? Now I understand your enthusiasm.
I turn away, inwardly cursing the heat in my cheeks. And also, to reassure everybody in the audience, Ron and Lucette are not blood related. Father chuckles.
To be young and in love.
He accepts the letter from me and pries open the seal. If you do not need anything from me, need me for anything, then
Your excuse is that.
I curtsy before heading toward the doors. Behind me, I can hear the king chuckling. I turn, curious, and am surprised to see him grinning. I wonder what Rod wrote to him. I cannot help but wonder as I exit the throne room. I wonder too now!
Hey, your daughter, she real cute. I'm just saying.
In my room, I perch myself on the edge of my bed and undo the seal on the envelope. The parchment smells so much like Rod's perfume it makes my heart sink. I miss him so much. I wonder if he's in Brigantia already. Like, that's what I'm curious about. I unfold the paper and start reading. Lucette. I apologize for my belated response. I've been so busy with preparations for the Queen's birthday that I've barely had a moment to myself these past few weeks. I told you before how ridiculously grand the parties in Brigantia are, right? I got it right. You know, I don't enjoy that kind of decadence, so you can imagine how uncomfortable I was being forced to socialize with Brigantian royals for an entire evening. It was a nightmare. I cannot help but smile as I imagine the scowl Rod must have been wearing that night. But I'm happy to say my hard work has paid off. The Queen was delighted with my dance choreography. I'm not surprised by the Queen's praise. I know how skilled a dancer Rod is. I set the letter down on my lap with a sigh. Unbidden, I find my mind wandering back to the day Rod was whisked away to Brigantia. It was shortly after Parfait granted Rod's wish. Now I wonder what it is! Claude offered him a position as Brigantia's royal dance instructor, and Rod immediately took him up on the offer. He insisted if he wanted to prove myself worthy of my hand, he needed to recraft his reputation from the ground up. Wait, what? Okay, I am really confused now.
I don't know, did something happen in Rod's storyline?
Okay, so for a little bit of clarification. For those who have not watched the first part of the game. So, Rod's curse was the Little Mermaid curse. And unlike all the other curses where it happened as like a punishment for something, or they happened to come across somebody who decided to throw a curse at them, Rod voluntarily got cursed. He basically went towards a witch. Somebody unnamed, I think. Because he basically had an unrequited love. So, he felt like in order for it to be requited, he had to go through the Little Mermaid curse. So, he requested that he get that curse. So he could get over the pain of his unrequited love. So, that's the curse he got. So, the rabbit on his shoulder, Sebi, in turn became his personal voice. So, like, Rod could communicate with people telepathically, but Sebi basically revealed what he was truly thinking, essentially. Thinking or feeling. And the way to undo the curse was basically for him to find requited love. Which, in this case, took an extreme route. They basically went with the classic Hans Christian Andersen ending, where, like, one of the siblings, in this case Emmeline, had a dagger, which would go after the person that he cared about most. And in this case, it went from the toy shopkeeper to Lucette. So Lucette intervened, got stabbed, and that broke the curse. I mean, as you can see, she survived it. But yeah, I think the reason why they're saying this is because I think Rod became more so known for the fact that he cursed himself voluntarily, and then the fact that, like, he was in a common, like, he was basically the son of a commoner marriage, essentially, that all of a sudden turned royal. So maybe that's what they meant by him trying to make his own name, I guess.
Oh no. Again, part of me is just like, semantics. What is it to be stabbed by a dagger? Do you just have to, like, be pricked by it, or does it actually have to be like a lethal wound or something? I don't know.
Yeah, in this case, it was literal. Thankfully, Chevalier recovered his memories as a doctor, so he was able to fix that right up pretty quickly. And plus, I mean, there's also magic in this world, so... Yeah, scarring's not a thing in this world, thankfully. But, yeah, But yeah, I mean, considering his family history, I could see why he would want to make his own name. But at the same time, though, it was kind of like, huh? Because he was already pretty famous in Angiel as being a really, really kind person. So that's where it got really confusing for me.
I'm sure he's a kind person, but if he wants to marry the princess, he might need a little bit more than that, you know?
I guess?
There's politics to be considered. Headache.
Politics. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
You're talking about this is our regular scheduled programming.
That is true!
This is what we do.
This is what we do. I insisted such a thing was unnecessary. My thought exactly. But Rod was unwilling to compromise. I turned back to the letter with a sigh. I hope all is well in the palace, and that M isn't causing you too much trouble. I miss you, Lucette, and can't wait to see you again. I promise to write again soon. I love you. P.S. Sebby says he misses you too. I love that Sebby still talks even after the curse is broken. It's great. The letter ends there, and it is a good thing, for my vision has started to blur with tears. I wiped them away with the back of my hand. He did not even bother to say when he plans the next visiting. Does he even miss me? Does that letter not prove enough?
I'm like, what did you just read? Are you blind, woman? People are silly.
Then again, as Hercules says, people can do crazy things when they're in love. Case in point. I clenched my fingers into a fist, and startled when I noticed electricity sparking at my knuckles. I closed my eyes to take a few deep breaths, and when I open my eyes again, the sparks are gone. But magic is a temperamental thing, which is why I have to consciously tone down my emotions until I've mastered my magic completely. It does not help that my position as Tenebrarum bearer makes my magic more sensitive to negative emotions. If I'm not careful, the negativity overwhelms the rationality. Parface said I must possess a strong mind and heart, but that is easier said than done. I fall back on my bed with a groan and will the negative thoughts away. And also, Epic Games did a pop-up earlier. Sorry about that. It has been over a year since Rod left for Brigantia, and while he does his best to visit us when he can, it has been a full 2 months since I last saw him. Why did he ever make that wish? Again, I'm wondering, what is the wish? Did he and also, that's one thing I didn't actually know, but then again, Parface's a fairy. I guess the magic works a little bit differently, where their magic is wishes versus witches or curses. Maybe that's why? That's my only theory.
I got nothing.
I mean, I guess because, Parfait's the Lucis bearer still, I guess she was able to grant it? 2 years ago, our relationship started with secrets. At first, the only people who knew about us were Emily and Ophelia. Then, the king. Even though Rod and I were not related by blood and had never grown up together, we were still wary about how our relationship must appear to the public. So there is your royal proclamation of reassurance. They are not blood related. That was why we did not share our relationship with the populace, Still, secrecy was hardly a solution. In the end, we turned to magic. Fairies can grant wishes? How did I not know of this? Because wishes can be just as dangerous as curses. Parfait clasps her hands.
I think this is the first time I've seen Parfait.
Really? Could have sworn you saw her in the previous entry, but a long time ago. Yeah, I feel like it was in what's his name? Okay, she died in, I think she died in Claude's route and in Waltz's route, definitely. Francis was the one that most of the people died. I think the only one that she was around for was, no, she survived in Claude's, I think. Chevalier was when she died. That's right. So, I feel like at least one ending had her are still around. Anyway. A long time ago, fairies granted wishes to those who prayed for them. Over time, humans came to depend on these wishes for happiness. She shakes her head. They saw wishes as convenient magic, but true happiness cannot be obtained by wishing for it. It is something that must be worked toward. And besides, granting so many wishes caused an imbalance between the crystallum. Would that not have been preferable? A life without negativity sounds like a dream. And it shall remain a dream. The Tenebrarum exists for a reason. Remember, there is no light without darkness, Lucette. Too much happiness can make a human selfish and gullible. Humans would be ill-equipped to recognize threats and danger in that state. The balance is vital. Thus, a new rule was established. Every fairy was allowed to grant only a single wish. If fairies had been able to grant wishes this whole time, then why weren't wishes used to counter the curses during Mother's rule? You know that witches cannot remove their own curses. The same is true of fairies. We cannot nullify a curse with the power of a wish. In addition, wishes have many limitations, the most important being that they cannot be used to harm anyone. Believe me, Princess, we had many humans wishing for the demise of the witches during the Great War.
Couldn't they have just wished for the witch's anger to disappear?
I don't think it was that simple either, man. We do not have the power to change a person's heart. It's basically the three genie rules. Can't kill anybody, can't make anybody fall in love, and X-nay for wishing for more wishes. Though in this case, instead of 3, it's 1.
So, can't bring anybody back from the dead, I think was the other.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
Not a pretty picture. I know that.
I'm doing it! Besides that, the Tenebrarum overpowered the Lucis during the war, which made it impossible for fairies to even grant wishes. Wish granting takes a significant amount of energy, after all. Parfait crosses her arms and smiles. It is tinged with melancholy. Let us return to the topic at hand. If your concern is that you are both perceived as family, then, if Prince Rod wishes it, I can make him a commoner. What? Rod's eyebrows are furrowed. I could tell he is deep in thought. Wouldn't that be very contradictory, though? Because he technically already is one. Who just happened to marry into royalty. But on the other hand, I could kind of see why. Oof. Do not tell me you're considering this, Rod.
My curse led to no end of trouble for my family. I blame myself for the sudden and difficult lifestyle changes we all had to undergo. But now, after all this time, they become accustomed to living as royals. You can't just take that away from them.
Oh.
Won't uproot their lives like that again. Not again.
Oh man, what is he gonna do? Then we could find another way. One does not require such sacrifices. Rod remains silent. Rod? Oh, don't tell me he took it. Yo. Ah!
Sorry.
No! Wait! What? Yo!
Bull-headed fool.
What? That's when I found out that Parfait had already spoken to Rod about wishes earlier. He had even consulted Ophelia and Emmeline before asking me to accompany him to the tavern that day. Oh my god! And so, he made his wish. This time he wished to become a commoner rather than a prince. However, unlike the curse, his wish did not affect Ophelia and Emmeline. It is only Rod that no one remembers. Oh shoot! What? So basically, let me get this straight. So like, everybody's memory, but basically anybody who's affected by the curse, and then, well, obviously King Gennaro, basically nobody remembers. That is crazy. Oh my god.
It feels like he has to earn his nobility rather than like have it handed to him.
That's basically it, yeah. Holy mo- Okay, that explains a lot of the earlier part. Okay.
That's not even how nobility works.
No! Dang, Rod. Even now, I'm saddened by the fact that he made the decision without considering my feelings. Both of our lives were turned upside down in a heartbeat, and I barely had any time to prepare for it. A knock at the door jolts me from my reverie. Who is it? It's me. May I come in? You may.
You know, personally, I am sure he had many considerations.
Oh, yeah, but he probably thought that was like the best one considering the relationship and how it would be looked at optically.
And not to mention, he might have just thought informing her earlier would just give it that much more time. Like, if he had made up his mind and wasn't going to be talked out of it.
Yeah.
She was just going to worry about it the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
At least, that's where his thought process was going. I don't know how that worked out in fact.
Yeah. Whew. So, I guess I'm assuming, like, nobody... Yeah, like, they basically wouldn't know, like, that like, Rob was even related. Okay. That makes more sense. But it's still kind of sad, though.
It's very sad.
Yeah. I mean, at least Gennaro, Emmeline, Ophelia, and basically whoever's in the marching would remember, but basically everybody else wouldn't. Just wow. I mean, I'm assuming the fairy tale curse people would not be affected, but maybe they were? But then again, if they were, then maybe Karma would not have offered Rod the dancing post.
Or maybe he just made a very specific wish.
Yeah.
So, I want this to happen, but I want these people to remember it, but nobody else.
Nobody else, yeah. Well, we'll see what's happening. Good morning, Lucette. She glanced at the open letter on my bed. I take it that's from Rod? Indeed. He also has a letter for you, too. It's on the table. Emmeline's face brightens as she picks up the envelope. Did he say anything about when he plans to return? She sighs when I shake my head. He's as tight-lipped as always. Other than me... Yeah, we were right. Other than me, only Ophelia, Emmeline, the king, and the marching goers recall Rod's true identity. At first, there were doubts about whether Parfait could keep their memories of him intact. In the end, it was only possible because she enlisted the help of her cousin Cinna. Cinna, who is set to become the Lex Lucis bearer, had enough power to fine-tune the parameters of Rod's wish. That single caveat was Rod's only requirement. Being so close to his own family, he refused to make his wish without knowing for certain they would remember him. I can only imagine how difficult this distance is for you and Ophelia. Emmeline shakes her head. We miss him, but we know he's also doing something he wants to do. Emmeline plops down on the bed beside me. What he's doing is unnecessary. Rod said what he's doing is for the both of us, yet made the decision to go to Brigantia on his own. Emmeline gives my hand a gentle squeeze. You know he only went because he felt he needed to prove himself worthy of your hand. Why does that even matter? Ophelia was a baker when father married her. Rod loves you, Lucette. That was apparent to all of us. It's why we decided to support his decision. I want you both to be happy. Emmeline pats me on the shoulder, then rises from the bed with a smile. Look at the time. I only meant to come in and check on you, but I've taken up so much of your time. I'll shut myself out now. I don't want you to be late for your magic lessons. Thank you, Emmeline. Of course. I'm always happy to help. Emmeline gives me a quick hug before leaving. I return my attention to Rod's letter. I should probably write back, but I'm still irritated to not provide a date for his next visit. How long does he plan on keeping us waiting?
Oh
God!
Now here's the question, because obviously you want to write a letter back. Don't be petty like that. But is she going to write back immediately? Because it also might not be a good idea to write him back a letter when you're upset with him in this way. You know, you want to give him a caring letter, not just be like, Rod, you punk. You know.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's like on the one hand, there's like, I mean, there were like certain levels of petty, but then the other hand though, is it with Rod? I don't remember too well, because again, he was the hardest route that I went through in this game.
So I'm saying, what I want to happen is for her to calm down a little bit, you know, collect her thoughts, and write back a well-composed letter.
On the other hand, this is Lucette we're talking about here. She's a Tenebrarum bearer, plus she already has a temper, so we're screwed no matter what we do.
If that's the kind of letter she just writes anyway, then sure, go ahead and write the letter.
On the other hand, though, maybe not writing back would be enough for him to like pitch it and say like, oh, okay, something's up, I gotta go.
Yeah, but he's trying his best. I don't feel like we should try to manipulate him in any way. No.
Okay. Well,
if he feels forced back, then he might not, you know, still feel worthy if he is compelled to come back too early.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't get to finish what I was trying to do. But
And yet, it's like, for her, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, Ophelia and my dad were in more dire straits back then, and they still got together, so why can't we? But yeah, I think I'm gonna try writing back. I mean, it's obviously gonna be immediate, but I mean, I kind of want to see what she says.
yeah.
It's like, how long are you gonna keep me waiting, Rod? I want to see your face.
I want to see a face that I love so much, except I want to punch it.
If he insists on being so opaque, then I'll be honest with him. I'm gonna give him a piece of my mind.
Here we go.
Here we go! I sit down at my table and begin to compose my letter. Done. Now to have it delivered. We're never gonna find out what it is! I glance at the clock, realizing that it's almost time for magic lessons with Waltz. I take a deep breath and will will away my gloomy thoughts before heading to the forest. It has been 3 days since I received Rod's letter, and I am still agitated by it. Does he not miss me? Again, did we read the same letter?
Okay, he didn't literally use the words "I miss
you,"
or give a return date. It's like, things are going well here, but I love you.
Yeah, like, I feel like that's, like, written between the lines. Like, I don't think Rod's, like, one of those... I mean, clearly with the way Sebby behaves, that's the one who says it straight out. He just puts it in between the lines and hopes you notice.
How can Sebby miss you and not Rod?
Oh, it's too funny.
What's that?
Oh wait.
Self-voicing disabled.
Sorry about that. I pressed the V. So those who need self-voicing when playing this game, now you know. I conjure a shield at the last minute, just barely managing to block Waltz's magic as it comes racing toward me.
You were distracted. If this was a real battle, you would have been hurt.
Sorry. Walt sighs as he rubs the back of his neck.
Let's call it a day.
Okay.
If you don't mind me asking, is this about Rod?
No.
You're a bad liar, Lucette.
It was so ski.
Liar.
Waltz just smiles at me innocently when I scowl at him.
You're as easy to read as always, princess. You sure you don't want to talk about it?
It is nothing.
Doesn't seem like it.
Nope. It's just... being in a long-distance relationship is difficult. I never wanted this. A dent appears between Waltz's eyebrows. I cut him off before he can respond. Forget I said anything. I apologize for wasting your time today. I will do better next time. Waltz looks at me worriedly.
Please like to stop by the Marchen before heading back to the palace? I'm sure Lady Parfait and Delora would be glad to see you. And these too. Been a while since you visited.
I think I would like that. It will be a good distraction from my thoughts. Waltz and I walk back to the Marchen together. Thankfully, because he is a witch and so well trusted by Father, there isn't need for a night escort today. The quiet companionship is nice. Waltz does not bother me as I mull over my thoughts. Princess! Anise greets me first when I step into the march-in. Hello, Anise. It has been a while. It's been weeks. Please make yourself at home or prepare the march-in special hot chocolate. I look through the doorway into the noticeably empty tavern area and raise an eyebrow. Do you not have any customers today? We closed early today for a restock. I see. Anise smiles again before disappearing into the kitchen. I take a seat at the settee. Walt sits across from me. I look around and realize how quiet the march-in is. Even though it has been 2 years since I've left this place, I'm still not accustomed to seeing it so empty. It's hard to believe this place was so crowded before, but now? The march-in is just an ordinary tavern. Anise and Waltz are the only boarders who remained after I started breaking the fairy tale curses. Garland and Jurian have returned to the Order of Caldera, and Chevalier to his clinic. Claude, of course, returned to his own kingdom. But it feels rather empty now. I am glad to know everyone still visits occasionally.
Quiet is so strange. So much has changed since you broke the fairy tale curses.
Same thing with the, same thing, but like, flip it with, my workplace. It's gotten more packed than ever. Also, 11/11. Not all of them. There are still people out there who are cursed.
Don't worry. They'll keep coming to you as the word spreads. And I mentioned before that Elora and I might be able to help you find a way to drain the curse magic entirely from the Tenenbaum. That would solve the issue entirely.
Wait, that's a thing?!
Apparently?
It's at times like this that my thoughts shift to Fritz. I've not seen him for 2 years, not since I became a Tenenbaum bearer. Myth, who is now the fairy's prisoner, confessed to inflicting the fairy tale curse upon him. When we asked for Fritz's location, he refused, claiming it was too late to reverse the curse. Even now, we have no idea of Fritz's whereabouts. So he ain't dead, but he's basically turned into, Varg.
He ain't dead. That we know about.
Yep.
He dead. 2 years is a long time. How do you think about Sir Fitzgerald?
I look up in surprise. How did you know?
You've been worrying about him ever since you found out he was cursed. Right now, all I can do is have faith he'll return one day. And maybe, if we can expel the curse from the crystal entirely, he'll come back without the curse.
Fingers crossed. That truly would be the best case scenario. The room is briefly silent before I look up at Waltz, curious. What about you, Waltz? What are your plans for the future?
Pop it, shout.
Pop it, show!
Well, I've only ever wanted one thing. Now that it's happened, I have to think of something else.
Pop it, show!
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Oh?
It's not important. Just some happiness for a friend.
Who is this friend?
A friend, huh?
Who is it? I am skeptically. Is there nothing else? Something for you, perhaps?
Right now, I'm happy just focusing on my students.
$5 in Sora. There's a twinkle in Waltz's eyes when he mentions them, and I cannot help but smile. Waltz has been teaching young witches how to use their magic for about a year now. Apparently he is very good with children, which makes him an excellent tutor. I'm glad that I'm no longer his only student.
I'm grateful to Lady Parfait kept the marching open. It's a great place to teach.
I can imagine. Speaking of Parfait, how was her training with Cinna? I've only met Cinna once, and that was when Rod made his wish. I do not know much about him, save for the fact that he's Parfait's cousin, and next in line to be bearer of the Crystallum Lucis. I've only met him once, but I can tell he has a strong personality. Understatement of the year.
Cinna's very talented, but he can be difficult.
Again, understatement of the year. That sounds like him.
Right. But if anyone can smooth down frayed edges, it's Parfait.
Anise returns with 3 mugs of hot chocolate. We spend some time catching up. Later, after I've drained my mug, I excuse myself to head back to the palace. Unfortunately, because it is late, I do not have a chance to see either Parfait or Delora. But there is always next time. I say my goodbyes to Anise before heading back to the palace with Waltz as the next escort. Later, after Waltz leaves, I am walking toward my room when a maid appears before me. She bows. Good morning, Your Highness. It's like, good evening! Whoa! I am messing up times a day, even in game. Wow. Good evening, Your Highness. His Majesty has asked for you in the throne room. Father? What can he want from me at this hour? I'll be there shortly. The maid bows again before walking away.
Maybe Rod's planning a surprise visit. Letters.
Or maybe, yeah, because like considering the way he was laughing in the letter, maybe he only told Gennaro and nobody else. It's kind of cruel though, but in a way,
maybe Emmeline as well.
Emmeline asked Lucette if he said anything about her coming back. He did not. Neither one of them got anything.
Well, she hadn't read her letter yet at that point.
True. That's true. Let's see. Father is standing in front of the window when I arrive, his gaze far away. You asked for me, Father?
Ah, there you are.
He gestures for me to stand beside him, then turns his attention back to the window. I follow his gaze to a spectacularly beautiful full moon.
Full night, is it not?
Indeed. Father, why have you called for me? Proposal?
Lucette.
His change in tone is concerning, and I'm tense when he turns toward me. Oh boy! Oh boy! What is it?
Called you here to discuss a special ball I would like to throw you next month.
Oh! Excuse! It's an excuse to reunite! It does not take long for familiar irritation to start burning in my heart. Would this be the suitor's ball by any chance? Yet another ball meant to pressure me into finding a husband?
You are past the traditional marrying age for royalty, but...
You're one to talk. You know the reason why I'm unmarried. I ball my hands into tight fists. I refuse to have this ball. Nothing you do or say will change my mind. What's that? You're forgetting.
Even if Rod shows up at the suitor's ball?
Exactly! It is literally your excuse to reunite. Literally your excuse. Now I wish I did. Now I wish I could not send that letter. But let's see what happens when she did. Father sighs and rubs his temples.
Dear, I thought I could surprise you.
Oh my god! Even I saw what he was doing with that. He was literally setting you two up. Like, I think Rod had the idea, have the ball, so that way Rod could make his debut officially. And then they reunite via the ball. Rod is a genius. Oh my gosh. Like, he's like this dude's like, I mean, behind his scowls and like Sebby's little chatter, dude's like a mad genius. Wow. Like, even I couldn't think of that. Surprise me. If that is your goal, then this is the most unpleasant surprise.
It wouldn't be so unpleasant if you just let him finish what he has to say. Oh, that's someone else.
I wonder who could that be? The voice comes from behind me. It is a voice that I've not heard in months! I know it! Okay, I am sorry. I knew this was going to happen, and yet I can't help but be excited, you know? I'm invested. I turn and stare at the man approaching us. He wears a familiar, endearing scowl. I never thought that endearing and scowl would be in the same sentence.
Oh, I love those strange things.
I ran to him without thinking and throw my arms around his neck. I went on a breathless laugh when he said his hands in his whole way back.
Clearly his waist, but you know what?
Yeah. I mean, I bet this is like written like pre-production. That's my guess.
Leather set?
I cling to him tightly, hardly believing that he is here, but I can feel his breath against my neck when he speaks, and I know for certain it is no dream.
Sorry for making you wait so long.
Oh god, now I feel really bad sending that letter. I wish I didn't. I wish I did not. I buried my face into his chest, relishing his warmth. I can feel tears welling in my eyes, and in my happiness, I do not even bother to brush them away. For the first time in months, I feel buoyant. It has been so long since I embraced him. Eventually, I pull myself away and try to compose myself, but I cannot wipe the smile from my face. What are you doing here? Why didn't you not tell me you were coming? I turn to Father. What is going on?
You remember that letter you gave me a few days ago?
He intercepted it and managed to be like, quick, come up with the plan.
He told me to expect him on this day, but not to tell you because he wanted it to be a surprise.
Well, it worked. At the ball? Father laughs.
It will be a celebratory night, not a suitor's ball.
Plot twist!
Because of your hard work as the tenant barn bearer, this kingdom has known peace for the first time in a long while, they said. It's only natural that we show our appreciation.
Indeed! I misunderstood. I apologize for jumping to conclusions. Father waves a dismissive hand. I mean, it's like, yeah, you're my kid. Of course you're gonna go that far, but you figure it out eventually, so.
There's no need for apologies. Now, I shall leave you two alone. I can imagine you have a lot of catching up to do.
Indeed! He smiles at us before taking his leave. When we finally alone, I turn to Rob with a scowl.
An endearing scowl.
An endearing scowl!
Why do you have that look on your face? Let me guess. You're mad because I made you wait so long.
Oh boy! Round 2. Do I be blunt? Do I be blunt? Do I lie? Or do I just keep quiet? Oh gosh, this game. You know what? I'll let him guess. He can figure it out. It's pretty obvious.
Said?
I do not want to snap at him. Not when he has just returned. Rod takes another step forward, and I'm just about to tell him off when I feel his arms around me.
I know you're mad I had to leave for so long again. And for that, I apologize.
I close my eyes and sigh. My irritation dissipates slowly as I soak in Rod's warmth. How is it that he's able to cool my anger so quickly?
Wait, where's Sebi?
Where is Sebi? Oh my gosh! Where?
I just realized that.
Yeah. Back in Brigantia, I guess? I don't know.
Like you wouldn't travel without it.
I know! It feels weird. I step away from him, putting enough distance between the two of us that I can see his face. Is that the right choice? Oh, anyway. Rod runs a hand through his hair and smiles. So apparently the right choice was not to send the letter. So, whoops! Rod runs a hand through his hair and smiles.
So much for making this a surprise.
I would have preferred you notifying me.
I should have realized.
I do like surprises, but they just have to be the right kind. Rod sighs.
I'll have to do better next time, then.
A soft but comfortable silence ensues after he makes that promise. I take advantage of the moment to study him. It has only been 2 months, and yet it feels like he has changed so much since I last saw him.
Stop staring at me like that.
And then I bet like Sebi would be like, Rod missed you too, by the way. Rod turns away, his cheeks dusted pink. But he is still the same awkward Rod. I pause, realizing a certain plush toy is conspicuously missing from his shoulder. Now we'll get the answer to this question. Where's Sebi? This universe's equivalent of where's Shelly? Where is Sebi?
He's back in my room. You know how much he babbles. I didn't want to ruin our reunion.
Makes sense. At least I can't read your thoughts anymore.
That doesn't stop him from trying to do it anyway. He succeeds most of the time.
Wait, this is Sebi we're talking about. Rod heps a hand onto his hip.
How have you been faring lately?
I've been well, all things considered.
And the nightmares?
Ever since I became Lieutenant Bearer, my nightmares have become more intense. It is an unfortunate side effect of the negativity gathered in the crystallum. The nightmares are worse whenever I'm under a high level of stress. My nightmares have and tested me these past few months on account of my worry for Rod. But he just came back, so I do not want to worry him about such things. Rod frowns and I do not answer.
They're getting worse, aren't they?
They are, but they're still manageable. Rod closes the distance between us and wraps me in his arms.
Sorry. I know it's my fault.
Ah! You're not to blame for this. I am Lieutenant Bearer. Having nightmares is just an unfortunate side effect of my job.
But I made them worse.
It's not your fault! That I cannot deny. I gently push Rod back so I can look at him. That is why you need to make it up to me.
I'll do my best.
He says the words with such a serious expression that I cannot help but giggle.
Why'd you laughing at me?
I missed your glower. Rod sighs and shakes his head.
Do you have to point out every time my face changes?
Yes. If it embarrasses you, then yes. He clears his throat.
Anyway, I'll make it up to you. How about we go somewhere together soon to help you relax?
To the forest! Anyway, I stare at him. The two of us? In public? My heart flutters at the thought. We have been hiding our relationship for so long that we've been unable to go anywhere together in public.
As long as we're discreet, I think we can make it work.
It's so obvious. It's gotta be the forest, man. Like, where else? Like, the ending of the route literally was in the forest. Like, it's gotta be the forest. So that's literally where the ship started. It's been a while since we last visited the forest. I hear that there are apples in some of the trees now, and the two of us used to dance there. It was always my favorite time of day. It was as if Rod could read my mind. He raises an eyebrow and smiles.
It's always been a good place to dance.
Yes.
Alright then, forest it is. We can avoid crowds altogether that way too.
Woo! Sacred tunnel! He glances out the window at the moon hanging high in the sky.
It's late. You should get some sleep.
I probably should.
Just escort you back to your room, but that's the last thing I want to start. Necessary rumors.
It is a shame, but he definitely has a point. If the servants saw him leading me back to my room now, they'll be confused. Rod is, after all, still a visitor in these halls. That's right. That wish. That dang wish! I must be making a face because Rod grins. He sets a hand on my shoulder.
Rest assured, I'll still be here in the morning.
I don't think that's what she was thinking of. I stare at him in surprise. Wait, are you staying the night? Rod nods, smiling. I mean,
Well, I wasn't coming all this way.
like late at night. I'm shocked into silence. Whenever Rod comes to see us, he always stays the night in the March-in to avoid unnecessary gossip regarding his visits. Okay, that makes more sense.
I'll explain tomorrow.
Traveling dance teacher? When I continue staring at him, he rolls his eyes.
I'm not a witch, you know. I can't teleport to Brigantia that quickly.
Well, meanwhile, Waltz has best portal magic. He could have easily taken you from there to here. I mean, then again, that is pretty far.
I promise I'll be here in the morning.
You better! I will hold you to that promise, then. I return to smile before leaving the throne room. I spend the night pondering Rod's sudden reappearance. He said he wanted to surprise me, but is there another reason he showed up so suddenly? Lucette? It's me. I opened the door to find Emmeline smiling at me so brightly she seemed to shine. So, did you see him? Let me guess. Everyone knew he was coming except for me. Well, it wouldn't have been much of a surprise if you knew. Emmeline closes the door behind her and walks over to sit on the bed. I notice that she has her hands behind her back. What if I told you we had another guest? Claude and Lance! It's gotta be the Brigantians. But then again, Their entrance is never silent, so... How? Oh? Seppi! Emily shifts and I can see now she's grasping a very familiar plush toy in her hands. Seppi! Aww. So cute! Hello, princess. Did you want to do Seppi, actually?
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out what kind of voice to give him.
Ah! Well, as you can see, the font changed.
You contemplated just doing some high squeaky voice. Ridiculous thing.
I mean, can Daisuke make this a real plush? Like, I would gladly get one. Like, Seppi is just cute. Like, the plaid and, like, the little beady eyes and the nose and just...
Hello, princess.
I reached forward to pat him affectionately on the head. That was actually pretty good. It's good to see you again. I hope you've been taking very good care of Rod.
Yes, I've been standing in for a minute this whole time.
I am glad Rod still brings Seppi around with him. Emmeline sighs and falls back against the bed with a content smile. It's really so nice to have Rod and Seppi back. You should have seen Mother last night. She was in tears. My heart sinks when I notice Emmeline's gloomy expression. It's unfortunate we can't openly show him any affection. Right. Because the servants and nobles would be confused to see the royal family treating an outsider with such fondness. I'm sorry. Why are you apologizing, Lucette? You didn't do anything wrong. I'm the reason Rod is no longer part of the family. I'm the reason that he is no longer your brother. Nonsense. No matter what, Rod is still and will always be my little brother. Little brother? Emmeline laughs. I know he definitely does not look little anymore, but it's not like his height changes anything. She smiles wistfully. When we were younger, I remember adamantly telling him he would never be as tall as me. He snapped at me, and from that day on, he at least... and from that day on, drank at least 1 glass of milk every day.
I drink at least a glass of milk a day, you know.
The thought of a younger, irritable Rod makes me smile. Oh? Emmeline sits up suddenly, staring at the clock. It's true. Time really does fly when you're in good company, but it's about time we get going. Emmeline grabs my hand, and before I realize what is happening, she is pulling me out into the corridor with her. Wait! Where are we going? Have you forgotten, Lucette? It's time for our dance lessons. We don't want to be late for introductions. Aha! Dance lessons? What are you talking about? I do not have dance lessons. What is this all of a sudden? Well, Mother thinks you should begin taking them. Father even took the liberty of finding one of the best dance instructors to Angiel. Emily winks. She pushes the doors to the throne room open. Everything I've been thinking falls into pieces the moment I enter the chamber and see Rod speaking with Father and Ophelia. Rod? Meet our new dance instructor. I hear he has quite a reputation in Brigantia.
There's no need to exaggerate, Em.
Exaggerating? Never! I speak only the truth.
Ah, you're finally here this set. I had no time to fill you in last night, but as I'm sure Emmeline explained, Rod is officially our new royal dance instructor.
He's making a name for himself. This is good. I stare, baffled. Do they all know about this too? That guy's like, why is it whenever we decide anything, I'm always the one left out until the very end? Rod clears his throat.
His Majesty tells me you require instruction in traditional Brigantian dancing.
His lips quirk mischievously. Rod, you mad genius.
I imagine you have a long way to go before you can boast about your skills.
Fighting words! I will make you swallow those words.
Good. That's the kind of spirit I like to see.
Father crosses his arms and smiles.
You understand then, Rod will be staying with us as a very special guest until the ball.
Until the ball? What happens afterwards? The mischief fades from Rod's face abruptly. He turns away, eyes distant. Is he gonna leave again? Who said, let's not think about that now. That's right. Let's focus on the here and now. Ophelia and Emmeline's optimism lifts my heart. Proposal? I mean, they've been together for 2 years at this point. Ophelia has a point. I should make the most of this time. Plus, I mean, a dance instructor and somebody very noble in nature has happened before. Here's the point. Natalie Portman, she fell in love with her dance instructor during the filming of Black Swan. They got married after the production was over. So, it's a classic story. After the announcement, Father and Ophelia turned the discussion to the ball. Rod approaches me, and no time at all, his fingers are interlaced through mine.
Be patient with me, Lisette. I have a plan for the future, I promise.
Because he's a mad genius! I squeeze his hand back and nod. I hope he's right. I hope at this time, I will not have to wait long. And with that, we have Chapter 2, Anxiety.
Oh, good.
Alright, well, we have managed to finish one chapter. Yeah, like, I mean, it's not terrible, thankfully. Like, that was only like an hour and a half, so not too bad, actually. But yeah, I wonder what Rod's gonna come up with. I mean, it feels very obvious, but we've had little tricks before, so we'll see what this... Like, let's see what they'll come up with.
This time, it does feel like they're trying to nudge you towards thinking he's just gonna leave. So I could see him just proposing at that point being like the big twist.
Mm-hmm.
That they're trying to get you with. So...
Yeah. I mean, she obviously can't leave Angiel because she's the crystal bear. She's like the crystal bearer. Same thing with Parfait. Like, they can't go very far. But yeah. That's one way I'm thinking. I mean, he did become a commoner, so that way he could, like, work his way up to be worthy, so... I mean, he is making a name for himself, so...
And it's not even a self-esteem thing,
Mm-mm.
but there would just be, you know, some people who would look at it and always be talking about him. It's like, oh, there's the boy who just, you know, just was thrown into the royal family. They grabbed it, opposed to being legitimate.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
So,
it's like, he fell into the princess's heart through one dance. Wow. What a romantic story indeed. Now we got 2 romantic stories of commoners turning into royals. Well, this is going to be pretty interesting, that's for sure. I mean, so far I think I've made like 2 mistakes in this playthrough, but you know what? I'm having fun with this one anyway. And we're going to go through another part where we're going to go through all the best endings one by one, which will not be as long, I assure you.
Yeah, never actually send what you write when you're angry.
I mean, did he actually get it, come to think of it? That's what I'm wondering.
I don't think so. Because to be here as soon as he did, it was only a couple of days.
Yeah.
So I feel like he had left already. So it probably just got sent back, and he'll get it when he gets back to Brigantia.
Yeah, return to sender. But yeah, so quite a number of changes are happening pretty soon, thanks to work in school. So Barony, I'm gonna be doing the usual time until like September 12th. Which I'm not gonna be available until like a half hour later. So that's gonna be fun. And then because of this, because I also got work that basically happens to hit during the streaming time, which is frustrating. Parasite Eve 2, I'm going to sit down and finish it tomorrow. So regardless of how long it takes, I'm basically treating this like a ritual. It takes as long as it takes. I'm going to try and finish that game tomorrow. I've been putting it off so many times because I had so many problems with Wi-Fi. Which, speaking of Wi-Fi, I'm getting new Wi-Fi on Tuesday. So that's gonna. So hopefully it's unlike the Wi-Fi I'm currently using, which is Fios. It's gonna be cable Wi-Fi. So, but I'm hoping the speeds are not going to change too dramatically, so I think it should still look good. We'll see. Anyway, Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore, Part 2 of Rod's Route will be happening next Saturday, so look forward to that. And then, I am going to be making my Fiverr shop officially commission only, because I'm just not making enough to, like, it just doesn't make any sense to, like, keep the gigs up as long anymore. So these last few days are going to be basically the last time you can, like, order straight up, and then afterwards it's going to be by request only. So if you use these codes, Blackout, which will give you a supplemental archetype, or Lawless, which will give you a free rune reading, with the proceeds going towards the Red Lake Treaty Camp. Speaking of Red Lake Treaty Camp, please just check out their Facebook, check out any support pages for them, so that way we can stop Line 3 and protect our drinking water and indigenous lands. Speaking of indigenous lands, I'm going to my first powwow in September, so that's going to be really fun. So if there are any indigenous watchers that happen to be watching this channel, please send some recommendations as to what I should do at a powwow. I know what not to do, but what should I do? Like, what activities should I try? What foods should I try? Anything I should look out for? Please let me know. Anyway, here's all my social media. TikTok, I update pretty frequently. I'm going to have a post up pretty soon on there. For those who missed the Twitch live stream, the on-demand video is back on my YouTube channel, DJ MK Off the Air. I have a second channel, Theological Otaku on YouTube, which should get an upload pretty soon. I can't say when because I've been so busy, but I'm hoping very soon I got one up there. I also have Twitter in case you want to check out, in case you want to get notifications for my streams, DJ MK for Life. And then I have a blog, mahokunobichi.blogspot.com, and of course my Fiverr shop. So, yeah. So, that's pretty much it. So, thank you so much for watching today's playthrough of Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. It has been a super long time coming, but it is finally here. So, yeah, I will see you next time for Parasite Eve, or Barony, or the next episode of Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore, whenever you stop by. Until then, stay safe, drink plenty of water, and of course, may your heart be your guiding key. Bye, everybody!